Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. What time is it? Uh, First and foremost, you know how I start. Thank you for your support. Thank you for hitting the like button. And any donation, Cash App, uh, Joseph Monty, 613, capital J, capital M. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your support. Share, like, support. They're telling me to do these things, and I'm rising up. So I'm following the rules from now on. Um, uh, this channel, more or less, soap opera, mafia soap opera channel, but I do other videos that might not be directly related to that genre. But I appreciate the numbers and I appreciate the viewers, and I'm more than them other guys. So we have these characters in the soap opera, and people have their reasons for liking one over another or hating one or not. And everybody's got their own reasons, and everybody's entitled to their own reasons because everybody looks at the world with different, through a different lens, through different morals, moral compass, different values, a laundry list of things on how you judge and perceive people. So that's fine. That's fine. And I'm guilty as charged of, I like Mike Franzese, then I get aggravated and I don't. And then, but you're seeing all these guys. We're not going to talk about the rat game, but the fact of the matter is all these guys you see on mob tube soap opera, they cooperated. I was nobody and I didn't cooperate. And, I could make up stories, but I could make up stories, but I don't have immunity to like just make up a story and then just say, geez, I don't have immunity or any of that. If you could tell a good story and be entertaining, you could build your channel. Obviously, it doesn't matter if the stories are true or false. At the end of the day, when you look at these king mob characters on social media, the truth doesn't even matter anymore. Some people want to know the truth, of course, and there's not a lot of people left at our ages that know the truth. But this is the truth, serum, and I still might lie. Okay, I still might lie because you can't remember everything, or I might just want to tell you a bedtime story like Mike Franzese. You like that just as well. These guys are full of crap. So who can write up the best story at the end of the day? Now let's get back to the show. Where's my editor and producer and writer? Oh, that would be me. I was thinking about John Alite. John Alite. Very involved with the mob. And Sammy and Gotti and all of them. And when you really think about it, now he wasn't 100% Italian. He couldn't be a made member. But this John Alite, as far as I see him, he was like James Bond. He was in other countries. He was on the run, going here, going there. John Alite, whether you like him or not, he's not even 100% Italian, and in my eyes, he's the James Bond of the mob. Now, we're not going to talk about the old regime of the 40s, 50s, 60s, and all that kind of stuff, because most of you people weren't even born or concerned about them characters. I could put Al Capone in the thumbnail, and it would be crickets, so we understand that. John Alite, and overall, aside from the mob, I like his humanitarian things that he does for the community, motivational speaker, and he does his thing. And I got more respect type for that guy. Mike Franzese. Let's get to Mike Franzese. Of course, he's telling fairy tales over there, but nonetheless, he hustled. Mafia is hustling, and he hustled back then. However, he generated those millions of dollars. He hustled, so he was successful at what he did. So I might get aggravated about some bedtime stories that he might tell. Excuse me, but at the end of the day, everybody's a hustler. It's a hustler. It's a hustle. So, and he's a good chess player, and he's a great manipulator. Then you got Gene Borrello. Now, he was one generation removed because he's like 40 today in 2024. So in 2020, what was he, 16? So the old dinosaurs were dying off. And then you had these new people related, connected that were on the scene. But a lot of people don't like Gene Borrello, and for whatever reasons. And it's safe to say that he would have not survived the old regime. He wouldn't have survived that. Not at all. And if he probably never watched this anyways, but that's probably safe to say, Gene, if you're watching. Um, and but there was a guy like him around the club. Got out of jail, and he came back to the club now, and they told me, Joe, leave or whatever, leave. They got to talk, whatever. Guy got out of prison, so maybe they have to go over some things or whatever. Get their affairs aligned. But when I used to go out of the club, I used to eavesdrop a little bit, smoke a cigarette in the window, and some they knew it. But this guy kind of had a demeanor like Gene Borrello, and I heard him be disrespectful and make some demands on a captain or Sam, and all of a sudden they were putting the boots on this guy and smashing him up. And then they came out and said, "You got to go." They told me, they knew I'm like this. They said, "You got to go." I was like, "Oh, geez," And that's why I say Gene wouldn't have lasted during that regime. No, not a snowball's chance. And he's smart. I'm not trying to disrespect the guy. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And but there were a lot of guys running around like him, and it like I said, it's like a soap opera. People didn't like the Jerry Springer show, but it was the number one show. Oh, look at it's entertainment. It's entertainment, and he entertains. While people are bashing and MFing these people, they're at the end of the day, the people are still watching. They're still watching. Tune in tomorrow when Joey Merlino says, Gene Borrello, you're no good. Tune in tomorrow, folks. So, but there's not a lot of guys around, and and then you want to talk about the rat game. Yeah, I understand. And if you see them on YouTube, and so they got immunity now because they cooperated, and they can tell gory stories about murder and violence. But Mike Franzese is always up there in my former life. Good morning, Leon Swan. Happy MLK to you too. What's this former life, Mike Franzese? Were you reincarnated? Was it, Mike? Were you reincarnated in my former life? What is this gibberish, bro? Come on. Jeez. So Mike will be Mike. But Joey Merlino, Gene Borrello bashes him. He puts down the Philly mob. Like, oh, what was Joey Merlino's crew? Oh, like five guys. And one crew in Brooklyn was bigger than the Joey Merlino mob, Philly mob. Whether that's true or false, you folks decide on that. But uh, Gene could be very insulting, and it's entertaining, I guess, unless you're on the other side of it. But it's a mob opera, the mob opera. But even Mikey Scars. Good afternoon, Mikey Scars, and people have their opinions and thoughts on him, but I like him and his co-host, and they go and they show things, so they're entertaining. They are entertaining. The people keep watching. Will the mob show every ever lose the momentum? Will it? Kevin, good morning. Yeah, the cars get a lot of salt on it, but what are you gonna do? So everybody's they might like them all. It's just like ice cream. What's your favorite ice cream? But John Alite, uh, not even being 100% Italian. Now, Chris Colombo, I said it before, and he's the direct son of Joe Colombo. My godfather did work for that family, and I have more of an allegiance to the Colombo family for the fact that my godfather did work for them. And that's why I was peed off when Mike Franzese puts in his thumbnails, former mob boss. That is such a flagrant foul. And that's why maybe Mike Franzese got the Colombo camp hyped up. Oh, we could get some views and subscribers for our channel. We could get some and all that because Mike can, set things up the right way. And then maybe afterwards, the Colombos are probably thinking, maybe they have a little cognitive dissonance after they did the show. Cognitive dissonance, what it means, like if you go buy a product and then afterwards you go, I don't think that was a good purchase, So I think they might have said, well, that Mike Franzese is good, but my position is you don't call yourself a mob boss. Maybe in your former life when you were reincarnated and on some other planet. Is that the former life you're talking about? Were you a mob boss in your former life, Mike Franzese? Maybe that's what he's referring to, in my former life. What are you talking about, bro? Come on, man. My former life. Whoa. So, like Gene Borrello, as far as he's a hothead, everything else. Yeah, well, there's wise guys out there like that. There's people out there like that. You could call him a fraud. You could call him all this other stuff. But who are the characters left that you could put in the thumbnails on social media to get views? Whether you're praising these guys or bashing these guys. It's all entertainment. It's all a hustle. And who do you align or put your allegiance to? Me personally, I look at it as being more connected with my godfather and those Italians there different than a viewer might perceive it. Because I know my godfather, if he was still around and he heard some of this gibberish, it would be no good. It would definitely be no good. But in the mob opera, soap opera, well, that's the way it goes. Who's going to carry the torch when Mike and Sammy are gone? Who's going to carry the torch? John Alite's getting older. Yeah, I mean, who's gonna carry, you know, who's gonna quench the insatiable appetite for mob channels? Who's gonna pick it up? But I don't have immunity to be talking about this or that. And a lot of the stuff I might have found out after the fact of things that happened. I wasn't privy, for someone to whatever they were plotting to do. Obviously, why would they? But maybe down the road, a year, 2, 5, 10, you find out some things from certain descendants that might be still around and older, and you catch up on things. You might catch up on things. So I would never be in the know on these actual, violent crimes and all that kind of stuff. I never cooperated. In the book I wrote, yeah, the feds were coming to the office, and I knew the federal agent, and we were very friendly together. I was selling steel in an office that was part of a gambling ring, but she was cool, and we got to be very, very friendly. And a lot of these guys at that time, a lot of mafia back then in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, they were just realizing that captains and bosses weren't even exempt from being rats. You would just think some things are just off limits, but in retrospect and looking back and then thinking about how they were thinking, most people would never imagine that a boss would be an informant. A captain would be an informant. Of course, soldiers or anybody else. So it changed, it was moving out for they're just going to just extinguish the mob as you folks traditionally know it. The mob don't exist anymore. Forget about what you hear about whatever in New York. Yep. Lance 33, good morning. You'll hear, nobody wants to put the final nail in the coffin and say, well, the mob doesn't exist. Yeah, there's operators out there, there's hustlers out there that are doing certain things. But I tell you what, it's not under the auspice or umbrella of a crime family name. Any Joe Blow can go out there and commit crimes all they want. Every criminal is not a mobster, 4:30 kickoff, the Bills game. And listen, folks, like Mike Franzese, listen, I'm in Western New York. We had a blizzard. But let me tell you, folks, when you go out and start your car, don't put your wipers on originally. They're going to stick and you're going to lose a blade. Wow. Dallas, the Jinx. I told in those other sports tout shows when I was doing that goofy touting the sports in my other videos. I tell you that Dallas, that Prescott's just a Joner jinx. A Joner jinx. The look on Jerry Jones' face was priceless. Love it. Yeah, but this game, Lance, is the real honest truth is in here. Respect from the UK. I'm international. And he's got truth in his channel name too. So we're cousins. The Truth Serum is cousins with the real honest truth. Good to see you, cuz. From the UK. But this football game, cold weather, it might be a ground chuck game. Well, there's no more wind, but it might be tired. The New York Jets, 15. We're getting I'm you know, Lance, keep dropping your Cash App. Now listen, folks. Now listen. Thank you, Lance, for your support. My Cash App is. Remember years ago they had that game show? The password is football. uh, oh no, Fournette is out. So, Dutchman. The fact that a mob mafia even exists tells you the current state of the Italian mafia. People aren't intimidated by the mob. Fear was what kept the mob alive. Exactly. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. Thank you, Dutchman, for coming in here. I interact with the people that come in here. I'm a talk show. I'm a talk show. And yeah, I was around them guys. I was around them guys. Back to the Cash App, Lance. The password is Joseph Monty, capital J, capital M, ends in an E, 613. All donations will be accepted, just like Mike Franzese. Now listen. Now listen. So, hey, and half the time I don't even promote my book. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. If people love me or hate me, that's just what it is. They dead miss. There it is. My name's on there anyways. You know. Nobody wants to play Green Bay. So yeah. The Gottis are still cashing checks. See, as long as you got the recognizable name, and then you could just piggyback off it. Citizens are intrigued by this stuff, and it sells. It sells. So that's why I'm selling now. Cash App, Joseph Monty 613. The book is They Dead Missed, Amazon Books. Sorry, because I always had a posture and demeanor like, the guys are, well, you know what? I was a hustler too. Let me hustle a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yep, Green Bay, get ready for San Fran. Green Bay now, they're not. I don't think Green Bay's just going to get run over. I don't know. I'm done betting on these damn games. When I don't bet, I pick winners, and then when I do bet, I go for the world. So I can't afford that. I'm decimated. Go to my Cash App. I want to gamble and bet more games. Oh, so see, I put the thumbnail title up there, and I appreciate the new people that come in here. At least I give them a shout out, you know. That's all. I give them a shout out, like the real honest truth. I truly appreciate it. If all you do is hit the like button, that's all right. I know I got my hand out for some other things, you know. Well, Lance 33, it's been 2 years and I'm pushing 400 videos. I put the work in, you know. That's like a running back having 300 rushes during the game. I put the work in. I was censored, I was kicked off and everything, but I do enjoy interacting with you people. But I got to watch what I say about the mob. I don't have immunity, you know. And everybody's just making up stories anyhow. Who can make up the best story, you know? Pittsburgh, they were part of the big gambling ring too. Pittsburgh. You know, people like to think that New York, Brooklyn, everything that, you know, the mafia, the New York mafia, dangerous families. There could be dangerous families anywhere, not just related to geographical areas. I mean, any state in the United States of America can produce many Charles Mansons. Well, the New York mob was the toughest. Gene Borrello, he's wild, and everything else. But he gets up there and he disrespected the Philly mob, and he told Joey Merlino, "Oh well, what's your crew got? You know, what's the Philly mob got? 9 guys. Well, the New York's one crew is bigger than the Philly mob. Well, you know, colorful statement and funny and humorous, but you guys decide on how you want to interpret that. So, uh, but sometimes I perceive these guys and I look at things different. I was running around and I seen guys like this, but like, who would you want in a foxhole with you? If you were in a war, who would you guys want? I'm asking you good people, anybody that comes on here, who's the guy that you want in the foxhole? Now it's two. Let's just set up this. I'm a little immature sometimes, folks. I'll let you know I'm a little immature, but I'm educated in many fields of knowledge, streets and books. All right, whatever that means. You and somebody else is in a foxhole. It's war. There's 4 other soldiers. Who would you want in your foxhole with you? A mob person, a recognizable mob guy. I don't think you'd want Mike Franzese in your foxhole. He's not a combatant. Me, you know who I want in my foxhole? John Alite. That's who I want in battle. I want John Alite in my. It's me and John against 4 other soldiers, psychos, whoever they are. I'll take John Alite, and we'll be making it to dinner that day because all I need is him. I might be useless, but I think John could handle the other soldiers. We just throw things around, and if channels want to do like an interview or things like that, I want to start off. The old timers don't want to do the New York Jets 15. Alec as a soldier, I can see that he would be like the Terminator. LOL. I know. Well, I agree with those sentiments. I agree with those sentiments. A lot of old guys, RP. I'm going to show you this video anyways. Old wise guys that they just don't want to come on. They don't want to come on. They'll watch now and support me instead of slapping me in the back of the head and saying, "What the hell are you doing up there?" But so there's still some 75-year-olds and 80-year-olds that they stay firm. JoJo, all the guys on there, they're all informants and rats and cooperators, and that's why they can do all that. Well, it sells, RP, it sells, and everybody's a hustler. You try to piggyback it and whatever. People have a right to hustle and get monetized and sell and do what they do. We can be haters or accept these things, however it is. But psychologically speaking, about human behavior and this media platform and the subject matter of mom, wow, what an entanglement. It's like in quantum physics, it would be an entanglement. It's an entanglement of matter and forces and energy. I try to throw that in there just to try to convince you guys that I got little smarts in me, but maybe that was a bad example. But yeah, a lot of guys. Oh, I'm gonna do a video of a guy. Well, It was my cousin on my father's side. We'll leave it at that. But I'm gonna do a video this week, my good friends, of there was a lot of people that were gonna be up for different indictments and this and that, and the government kind of had a speculative case on some things, and I'll do the video, but uh, they made a deal that he would take the crime, he'd take it on the chin, and they were gonna pay him a lot of money to do the time, like the sacrificial lamb, because the case or something was set up where it would be these other three or four kind of guys that could all go away at once and do time, or if my cousin on my father's side did it, it would just be him, the Lone Ranger, and then those other guys would pay him a huge amount of money. So we're gonna do that. That's probably just the story right there, anyways. What more? What can I say? I just gave it away. Jeez. Oh well. What are you gonna do? I'll tell you one thing. It's 6 degrees out, but the sun is shining. And Philly Bob, how's the weather? Kevin Flack, you see ain't big bucks over there on that field. How's the weather? 6 degrees and dropping. Barometric pressure 21.17 and falling. Winds north-northwest 10 to 20 miles an hour. Precipitation 40% chance. That's how the weather is. All right, smarten up, Joe. You're supposed to be a serious tough guy gangster over here. Now listen. I'm a frustrated weatherman. I'm a frustrated news anchorman. That's why I could get up here and just talk freelance. I could just talk. I'm a frustrated disc jockey. I'm a frustrated news anchorman. And I'm a frustrated weatherman. And I'm a frustrated lawyer. I'm frustrated. What's wrong with me? It's never too late to pursue your dreams, folks. It's never too late. Never. There's guys I know, God rest his soul. This is just an example. Where's this channel going? He was in his 50s. Nunzi was his name, Nunzio. And I saw him. He says, Joey, I'm going to go to school to become a lawyer. I said, you're in your 50s, my man. No, that's all right. Well, he became a big-time lawyer in his 60s, 70s, and 80s. He was in good shape like Hickory wood or whatever. Like Andrew Jackson, they called old Hickory, strong as Hickory wood. Hickory strong. But yeah, so it doesn't matter. See, now I'm 60. Well, Joe, you're coming in. Well, what if I live to 90 and by the time I'm 70, I have 250,000 subscribers? So you guys are younger than me, but I'm still motivated to reach some goals. Hopefully I have some longevity. But so this is a talk show, I guess, at this point in time. We already went over the Mob Squad. And John Alite is the guy I want right next to me. He was like James Bond. He was all over the planet and all this and that. I don't even think poor Mike Franzese qualifies as a gangster. I don't know. And then, oh yeah, they're all over the place, Kev. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. You got to dodge them in the road. The deer out here, you got to dodge them. So Mike don't qualify as a gangster. He qualifies as an accountant that made some big money for the Colombo family. The other guys qualify as gangsters. Mike Franzese is in a league of his own. And, maybe in his former life, he was a gangster. When he gets up there, in my former life, what the hell does that mean? Maybe he was a gangster in his former life. That's all. Yep. A year and a half, I'm going to relocate to Florida. And you won't be seeing this wall behind me. You'll be seeing the ocean and the waves tumbling over the sand. They watch the waves tumble over the sand. Bob Seger, Hollywood Nights. But these are going to be Florida nights. So, Sammy the Bull, publicized, yeah. Joy Merlino. Gene Borrello, they discredit a lot and everything. He's just a wild man. Anybody could be a wild man. But it's tough for me. I got, the truth serum. I'm not recognizable, big YouTube channel and things. But these other characters, I would do the best interview. If I interviewed these mobsters, I could do a great interview with them. Rather than me being interviewed, I could peel back some layers on some things and interview them. Lake Erie is a mofo, Kevin. Lake Erie is a mofo with this Lake Erie lake effect, all this other stuff. It's like a snow machine. Yeah, you get older, man. You gotta seek out some shelter. Give me shelter, Rolling Stones. So I told you I was a frustrated DJ. I do that once in a while on Facebook. I'll just take my phone and put it up there, and I have light. I have these bright. I have sensitive light issues for my eyes, and even with these glasses, like the light, you get old. These things happen, man. My eyes. Oh, All right. Hey, Stefan's. Hey. Better for my eyes, but I don't want to look like a Mama Luke up here with sunglasses on. So, where were we? Now listen. At the end of the day, this is social media. But if I saw Mike Franzese, I'd say, Mike, God bless you, bro. But you're still going to be the biggest channel out there. You don't have to do stuff like that. That's all. If you want to hate me or whatever, just leave all that bull crap aside. You could do it differently. You don't have to lie, man. You don't have to lie, but let's lie. It gets views. I guess, my good people, it comes down to, now these people have writers. I'm a writer. I can write up better lies and stories than them. So I'm going to start. Oh, and if you don't believe me, buy the book. Now listen, buy the book, and you'll see how well I write. You will see. It's on Amazon Books, Philly Bob. Amazon and everything. So I can write, and I can communicate effectively, unscripted, with unedited, know all that. I have a small channel, but the way I look at it, I'm confident, like you folks should be, in your skills. I'm better than them all. As far as a talk show host guy, I'm better than them all. I do this with nothing. Put me And I don't need writers. Like, say, I'm not going to say, oh, give me writers. No, I'm the best writer. Maybe I can use some lighting and maybe an introduction and little couple of bells and whistles. But I consider me to be the best. Yes, it's not being a pompo or a pompous, egotistical guy. No, you should be confident in what you're trying to achieve. That's all. You should think that you're the best in whatever you're trying to do. I'm also a motivational speaker. Kev, I got a buddy that been a bookie for 30 years, and the books are worth close to $1 million. That's really the only good thing for I could roll with you if you could do a lot of greedy, do it right. A lot of greedy people out there. Yeah. Yeah. There's still bookies out there that are taking book. People that just don't want to bet online or at the casinos. There's high rollers that still bet with bookies. And the government doesn't have to know it. You don't have to go online with these prominent website sites. You don't have to walk in casinos under 85 cameras. You're not going to get IRS involved. You make a score at the and bet at these places. If you make a score, they're going to tax you. Bookies still exist with high rollers. Every time you cash for over 600 or 1,000, you got to show ID at these places. There's bookies out there that handle a certain clientele that they might settle at every 25,000. They might settle. They're not going to go back and forth. Well, are you up 6 this week? You're down 4. Well, you're up to 7. When I'm stuck 25,000 or I'm up 25,000, we'll settle. Not me personally, because I'm so broke. I'm making $5 parlays. Oh Lord, it's the truth serum here. So, I appreciate you guys coming in here and helping me out because I need your help, folks. I like to interact, and it keeps the show going. That's all. That's my little niche here. I do have degrees in marketing management, so you got to have a little niche too. I talk to the people. People have a question in their mind. If I can speak or elaborate on it, you get it right here, right now. Mike Franzese ain't answering any comments while he's over there drinking that wine and all that. Yeah, I used to when I was a million years ago. I used to manipulate the lines, and then other bookie would say, "Oh, they're gonna middle us." I'll be like, "You're gonna be on the bad end of the middle, bro," because I was good in numbers, statistics, uh, and whatever, a numbers guy, and it was fun. It was fun. Now the government took it over, but there are some bookies that still. Some people don't go into casinos, or they don't want to put their credit card online to DraftKings and all this, all these names. They don't want people want to gamble anonymously, not for the IRS to know, and not to be under 25 cameras when you go into these casinos to make bets. People still don't like to roll like that. And then if you make all these big scores or whatever, and they're going to say, well, where'd you get the money from? You don't need to be under scrutiny from the government and cameras and everything. The New York Jets 15. Mike Franzese is bottling his own bath water. Mike Franzese is bottling his own bath water. Now listen, folks. I got this bath water, 1967. There's still some bubble bath in it. That's an extra 50. It's bubblegum flavor. That's an extra 25. I'm gonna get an applause button on here. I'm gonna add my first gimmick to this channel. I'm gonna buy an applause um, button, and that's that. And Philly Bob, I have to give my credit. He knows how to make money. You know, I said that earlier in this video. One thing this guy can do is make money. And I also said it before. The Russian gangsters had a lot to do with the gas scheme. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes about uh, Mike and the gas thing and whatever. But for whatever the reason, Mike Franzese, as that entity generated more money as a hustler than this couple mob families put together in their history in adding it all up. So it might be one of the most successful hustlers, maybe Al Capone, for the value of money then the value of money now. But Mike Franzese, we could sit here and like him and hate him and everything else, but Mike Franzese, the accountant for the mob, generated probably more money in the history of mankind. That is very safe to say. Very safe to say. I know he tells fairy tales. Maybe I told a couple fairy tales, but this is the truth, sir. I shouldn't say that because I try to stay on board with certain things, stay right on stuff. But he left no respect. It's a hustle, okay. He could do his hustle and be just as successful without calling himself a mob boss. That's all. I might look at it differently because I was around gangsters, and if they ever heard of something like that, see, he waited to do the YouTube channel after everybody died. So you can't call yourself a mob boss, Mike. And Chris Colombo went on the show, and even if Chris Colombo said, "Why are you calling yourself the mob boss of the Colombo family?" who Joe Colombo was Chris Colombo's father, Mike would have edited it out there anyways, because Mike Franzese coached pregame show with Chris Colombo, and he coached him and said, "We're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about that." So even if Chris Colombo said, "You can't sit up here on YouTube and call yourself a former mob boss of my family, the Colombo family." So Mike Franzese is such a calculating manipulator, it would have never aired on that video with Chris Colombo and Mike Franzese, because Mike Franzese is 3 steps ahead of everybody. Not me, but most everybody else that he's conning and hustling out there in the world. Buffalo should just roll right over Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh, cold weather, physical team, and a great coach. McDermott's not even like a legitimate head coach to me. He's a scrub. So it could balance out the scales a little bit. It might be a more competitive game than the Buffalo Bills just coming out there and just running over the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's battle, it's war, and Tomlin is a better general than McDermott. But can the soldiers enforce the general's plan? We'll see. We'll see about that. So, yeah. Gene Borrello, you're getting views. Just stay out of trouble. Just stay out of trouble. That's all. Everybody hates him. Just stay out of trouble. Joe Merlino, I'm thinking, is only doing Patreon now or something, because something with YouTube or I don't want to, YouTube, I love Mike Franzese, okay? YouTube administrator, I love Mike Franzese, okay? I love him, okay? Let's just put that out there. And it's a soap opera. YouTube administrator, it's a soap opera. So just let me continue to grow and put me in the algorithm. I'll be a good boy. I'm going to behave. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your input and everything. Thank you, Philly Bob. The New York Jets 15 is back in the game. I appreciate it. Philly Bob, Kevin Flack, the New York Jets. Oh, where's the truth here? I know there was a truth. The honest truth or something. The real honest truth. Thank you from the UK. Thank you. Spread the word about the truth serum. Us people with the truth in our names, we're cousins. I'm the truth serum. You're the real honest truth. We got to stick together, okay? We got to stick together. And Leon Swan. Leon Swan was one of my first subscribers. I love y'all, folks. I guess that's it. Cash App, Joseph Monte, 613, capital J, capital M, MONTE, 613. Pardon me, pal. Can you help a fellow American down on his luck? Cash App, Joseph Monte, 613. We're selling. Now listen, They Dead Miss, available at Amazon. That's me, little old me. When I was a little boy. Smashing Pumpkins. All right, folks. Stay warm if you're out in this area. Go Bills. The dream is alive. Are they jinxed and jonered again this year? We'll soon find out. So that's it. Mike Franzese, I wish you well. John Alite, I wish you well. Gene Borrello, I wish you well. Sammy the Bull, I wish you well. Joey Merlino, I wish you well. Okay? Put the soap opera aside. We're all humans. I don't want to put, spread some love and compassion. All right, folks. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your support. Hit the like button. It's the most important thing they're telling me now. I did 370 videos and I wasn't even emphasizing the like button. Thank you, folks. God bless y'all.